manufacturer specific,
Okay.
just to work on specific model cars.
Okay. And that's a big enough plate to say grace over. Welcome back. We're taking you on a tour of things that are going on in your car. And Dan Briggs here from Elmhurst Toyota is helping us out as we move through the car. We move in a little bit here because we've already talked about drum brakes in the back of the car. Now, some cars, most cars, used to have drum brakes all the way around. And then it got a switch to disc brakes in the front and drums in the back. Some cars have disc brakes all the way around, four wheels.
Correct.
But and we gave a little mini explanation of how drum brakes work. Let's talk about how this brake works compared to the drum brake. Okay, so this is what's on 99% of cars today.
Correct.
Okay.
Basically, all brand new cars come with front disc brakes. Some, as you had mentioned earlier, come with four-wheel disc. Basically, the fluid function is the same as drum brakes, where the driver is going to push down the brake pedal, produces a fluid action, which transmits to fluid coming down through a brake line to the front brake caliper. A little bit different operation. What happens is you've got a brake caliper piston that's inside this assembly that moves outward, which causes pressure on the brake rotor, basically squeezing it.
Okay.
That squeezing
so this,
causes friction.
This is like a big pie plate.
Correct.
You got like a big pie plate going on here, and this is a big gripping hand that goes on here.
Correct.
So you got your rotor and a caliper here.
Correct.
And so the hydraulic pressure comes down, squeezes it, puts it, and that stops the car.
Correct.
So, what are we looking for in terms of maintenance here? I mean, because these wear out faster than the drum brakes do, or than rear brakes do.
Correct. You'll generally replace, depending on the driving conditions and driving style of the person driving the vehicle, you'll generally replace two sets of front brakes to one set of the rear brakes.
Okay.
And that is because the front brakes do a significant part of the braking on the vehicle. Basically, you've got an inner brake pad and an outer brake pad. The inner brake pad tends to wear a little bit faster than the outer brake pad. So you do need to make sure that both of those pads are checked. They normally start off around 10-30 seconds, which is about the thickness here. And then we're going to replace them anywhere between the 2 to 3 millimeter area.
Boy,
so there's a significant
skinny.
change.
That's way skinny. That would make me nervous.
Yes. That's when we normally suggest the replacement.
Now, when you're at this point, that's when you would be hearing the...
Correct.
You'd be hearing the grinding on there, wouldn't you?
Actually, no. The grinding is when you have a metal-to-metal contact. It would probably be even less than this.
Even less.
Correct. Squeal sensors on the brake pads of most manufactured vehicles would start hitting about 2 millimeters.
Okay. Good enough. So, when these need to be replaced, what's going on here? I mean, is the rotor itself replaced? I know the calipers, the pads here can be pads,
correct,
or the rotors, or both.
Well, generally what we do is we're going to inspect the rotor itself to make sure that the runout or the amount of movement on the rotor itself is within spec. As long as you don't have a brake pulsation, there's no reason to really do anything as far as a replacement. Depending on the amount of runout, you can resurface or actually take metal off the surface here to true up the rotor to make sure that the
as long as there's enough material here
is removed and made straight again. Also, the thing you want to make sure of too is through the normal braking process, you've got a friction material that's contacting metal. It's going to produce a very highly polished surface here. That surface needs to be taken down and made rough. We do that by resurfacing the rotor, actually taking it on a lathe and removing part of that metal surface.
Okay.
Depending on the manufacturer, some manufacturers suggest a replacement of the rotor. Others suggest a replacement of resurfacing.
Okay. As long as we're in this neighborhood, let's talk a little bit about front-end alignment.
Sure.
Because since we've got everything exposed here, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. Well, actually, the alignment is done with the four wheels. You got all four wheels that have to become straight. Depending on the amount of toe and caster and camber, those are your
We just lost a lot of people.
Okay.
And just so those of you who don't speak automobilese know what we're talking about, here are your tires. Toe in is like this. Toe out is like this. Caster is like this. And where the tires are like this, caster is out like this. You want to get those lined up. Back to English.